The three biggest rules you think executives broke when they first started their FOMO with AI, and then what are the three biggest rules you've seen breaking since the cracks started to show? I'm thinking of how to answer this because it's really hard to narrow down into only three. So I'm going to start with telling you a story. True working class fashion. So a few years ago, one of my friends hosted a meme-themed birthday party for me, and I chose to be the conspiracy theorist. I don't have Instagram or Facebook anymore, and I'm terrible at keeping track of where my photos are. So I can't find my costume. So let's just assume I nailed it. But I can find my board. I made this one. And everybody was looking, they're like, wait, this actually isn't a conspiracy theory though. This is what's actually going on. And this was like right before the really big AI boom. This was like right around when ChatGPT came out. What I want to highlight about this board is this up here, the submarine, the ocean gate had just happened. And I recently decided to open one of my upcoming book chapters on the unwritten rule of compliance with Ocean Gate. Because what makes Ocean Gate unique is not that an error, a preventable error happened. What makes Ocean Gate unique is a preventable error that executives ignored ended up unaliving one of the executives themselves. That's what makes it unique. The biggest risk with AI is not the AI itself. Is that it will exacerbate issues that we have been ignoring for so long. And the number one unwritten rule I worry about is the unwritten rule of compliance. This was the easiest chapter for me to write and the hardest to narrow down how many case studies I was going to use, because time after time after time, we run into this problem of people speaking up, person in power blowing them off, at best terminating them, at worst. I mean, Ocean Gate fired people who told him this thing's not gonna work. It's gonna kill people. Experts all over the world, there's documentation emailed this guy saying people are gonna die in this thing. That's compliance. That's forcing people to go your way or the highway, no matter the risk. But usually that backfalls on the everyday person, particularly the working class and people of color. People with fewer resources. Boeing loses a plane, not when their executives are in it yet. You take away OSHA rights, who's that going to impact? Not the billionaires. What I worry about with AI is we are seeing AI psychosis, and this was very predictable. Because AI isn't making these new problems, it's amplifying problems we never addressed. Without addressing this unwritten rule and having an AI bot to just tell you what you want to hear and tell you that, I mean, there was a guy a couple weeks ago that it was like he thought he was arguing with experts in his field thinking he'd had a scientific breakthrough because AI told him he had, and he made a damn fool of himself. He had no evidence besides an AI algorithm. That's a really embarrassing way to ruin your career. Indra's psychosis that we see live, that is really sad. And it's what wealthy people have been able to get away with for a long time, and it's just going to get worse. Other unwritten rules I think we're going to fall into is the toxic individualism, the shift to independence on the top left. I think that's going to lead to even less holistic thinking. We already have an issue with that, of not seeing all the variables. People in the upper classes and people who are privileged in general tend to not notice things in their environment. They can't read people as well. They literally have less empathy. It doesn't mean like everybody's unempathetic. It just means they do not recognize other people's emotions as well. They do not notice environmental factors as well. I also give examples of companies who've done this in my upcoming book. Your AI only knows what you tell it. It's not going to know what actually happened. It's not going to know the context. People who are working class and who are in communities and have to be aware of the environment because their environment's unstable tend to notice and have a more holistic view of what's going on. Your AI will tell you what it knows about why you might be losing employees and why you might be losing money and why your product isn't fitting a niche. If you just tell it what you said and what you think about other people, it's not going to be the same. Having people involved to actually tell you, no, that product isn't going to land well. That marketing campaign is insulting. Nobody needs this right now. I do think AI is going to make these unwritten rules even more salient, because this will be what people bring to the table. One of the impacts will be the indirect communication. I think that is going to be everywhere. I mean, it already is, and in a positive way can help people who are having to learn that indirect communication, but it also could lead to just more miscommunications, which is already a major problem. It's also going to drown out so much language and voice. But honestly, again, that's already a corporate problem. 70% of business leaders say communication is their number one issue. So that I just kind of see as like a flipped coin. In some ways that might be an equalizer. But what do y'all think? Looking at this list, how do you think AI will or will not change these things?